Welcome to Elevate Today with Chris Thompkins. This is our premiere launch episode number 1. And our guest today is Claudia Chan, all the way in from Toronto, Canada. Right? Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show.
You're very good. You're amazing. You're quite beautiful on stage. As a matter of fact, you have great presence. You move very well. I love the way you do your shows. It was like a show. You should have a talk show in Canada.
I have to say, like, with me talking to people in the beginning, I literally wrote down every single question. I was like, this is what I'm gonna ask, this is what I'm gonna ask. And there was one day I decided to do like a marathon of 5 hours straight, interviewing person after person after person after person after person. And midway through, I was like, I like the script that I have is just the bio. I have their very standard first question, and whatever comes up afterwards, it's whatever comes up.
Yeah.
And I developed that part of the skill to
you haven't given me your bio yet. You know you haven't given me your bio.
I have. I sent it to you.
No, I don't have your bio. I swear I don't have your bio. I'm not going to look right now because I don't know what my system might do.
You were asking me about...
You must have sent me something early on. You probably sent it to Chris BXFL.
Do you know what? I sent it to your Elevate Today app.
Yeah.
On July 2nd, 9:35.
Okay.
My time. But it's in a Google Drive.
Oh.
So it's a link of a Google Drive. And so I have my bio in there.
Okay.
I have
I don't think I looked at that. I don't think I looked at the bio.
Yeah, there's my bio. There is my Claudia Chan speaker sheet and the sizzle wheel.
Oh, now you tell me. Okay, I'm gonna have to download. All right. You know what?
It's the same. I believe everyone is a unicorn. That's so real that I send it to you. But it's on July 2nd that I sent it to you at 9:35 EST.
So that means I probably did look at it, and I probably didn't look all the way through it. Might have looked at it.
It's just a link. It's a link with 3 things in there.
All right, I'll go back to it. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Claudia, tell us who you are, where you're from, and tell us that. Not the bio part. Who are you? Where are you from? Like, where were you born and raised and all this other stuff? Like, tell us where you live and everything like that. Those kind of things, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look, go ahead.
No, yeah. We're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey Chris. So great to be on here with you. A little bit about me. I am born in Hong Kong and I came to Canada in Toronto back in 1991. I was turning 11 at that time. So I just had my 44th birthday. So it's been a long time. Long time coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're in what part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Toronto.
Toronto. Wow. The big city. Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so much stuff has changed like throughout where I'm living right now. It used to be very quiet, and now all the condos are like coming up. And we're like, can you stop building condos?
So Canada is booming. Is that what's happening right now? Yeah. Okay. Americans like that. We like booming. We like booming towns. And Toronto, is it really cold in Canada?
It depends. So it's been kind of quite warm throughout the winters, these few winters. And when they talk about global warming, it's true, I think. I mean, there are a few days that would be like minus 25 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
Okay.
But yeah, like the winter has been kind of warmer than usual. So, and the snow is not sticking as long. It would come down and it would melt. the next day or two. So it's been quite not as cold as normal.
Do you like Canada?
Living wise, yes. I love it here in Toronto. I wouldn't go anywhere else.
Is your forever home? This is your
It's
forever
my
home.
forever home, yes. I've traveled quite a number of places, and it's always coming back to Canada, to Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
What's the most beautiful thing about Canada that you love?
I like the fact that, as we were talking about earlier, for those of you who are just joining us, there is great food. There's a lot variety of food. Where I live, you can do anything you want. There's a mall, there is entertainment. You can stay at home if you want to. You can drive like a very short distance and you can go out into the woods if you want to. Yeah, so and we do have healthcare. So it is a worry that has been taken off. Don't have to worry about that. But most of all, it's the people where it is very diverse, and they are nice.
Mm.
Where, I mean, of course, there's always racism. And at the same time, the amount of people, the type of people is very much diverse. So I feel like I'm part of the environment versus going somewhere, it's a monolith of another type of people. So it's that's what I love about Toronto. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful. It sounds very comfortable. Yeah, very
Yeah.
comfortable, right? Very inviting. You are a courage coach. You have your own website. You've been on stage. I swear you need a talk show. So what do you want to share with us today that is from Claudia's life, from Claudia's breakthrough? Claudia.
There's so many. One of them is the fact that the main pivot was the few years back when I was dating my now husband. The challenges that I had to face with my own parents because of the disapproval of me being with him. And it's that journey of breaking out of going against what they are saying, because growing up as a Chinese girl born in Hong Kong, raised in Hong Kong, and then came to Canada, I'm pretty much a a good girl. Always listening to my parents. And yet there are moments where I feel like I'm always a rebel. And I know that I gave my mom a lot of like white hair and heart attacks along the way. And it's the fact that standing up for what I wanted, trusting where I want to go, even when they don't agree with me, even when they are against me, that opened up my eyes as in seeing the fact that there are a lot of people in this world where people pleasing tendencies is a big thing. Living according to other people's expectations or their wishes rather than our own. And this is something that is very dear to me, dear to my heart. And no matter how I search through my own conscience, I feel like this is the topic that I was given to talk about, to bring other people's awareness to. And I love that. I would love to chat about this with you, Chris.
Okay. So you said people pleasing. You're a Hong Kong girl living in the Western world, but you came here at 11 years old. Are you Westernized?
Very
Compared,
much.
very much.
Very much, very much.
And so is that issue with mom parenting the parents, right? Is that an East-West thing because you're here? Or are we really talking about something that crosses all borders, all boundaries here? Because no matter where you're from, you still want to please your mom, right?
Of course, I think it's a universal thing. And I think if we open this conversation up to any of the other races, they will tell you that's how it is. Mom is always the one who's coming down. You want your mom to love you, so you do whatever you can to make her be proud of you, accept you,
Mm.
love you.
Yeah.
And it hurts when you believe in something that she doesn't agree with.
Mm. How do you reconcile that? How do you're no longer 11 years old, so
Mhm.
you're an adult now.
Yeah,
What
understanding that the guilt is there, accepting that what I was accepting the fact that whatever that I stand for, she may not agree with, and it may disappoint her, it may hurt her. Um, it may feel like sometimes she may make it seem like she had given up everything for me, sacrificing everything for me. Why can't I do the same back for her? And yet, that's the main question, right? Do we sacrifice our own happiness for our parents because of all that they have done for us, or do we live according to ourselves?
What's the
And
answer?
it all depends on that person's
Mm.
ability to see how far they walk. Because some
Mm.
people, they want to be with their parents and love their parents, and they may end up, they would prefer to give up on themselves, and it's fine.
Mm.
But as long as you're happy with that decision and not feel like you're resenting them for the fact that you have to do that, and understanding that it's your choice, that you have chosen that, and you be happy with that choice versus feeling like you were pressured into doing this and now you're trapped in this situation or
So
this decision.
what happens when you don't want to sacrifice your own life or happiness or whatever it is you want? And at the same time, you want to try to figure out how to deal with mom,
Mm.
knowing that mom is mom, right? Because like, okay, so where's that? I don't want to say balance. Where's the harmony? How do you figure that out? And are you by yourself in this? I mean, seems like there's a ton of people that might have this same issue or be going through things. So how do you build support or create support or find support when you're struggling with that?
Yeah, first of all, I do want to talk into the fact that it feels very lonely because it is a lonely road when you're in an environment where your parents are coming down on you and they tell you that other people also don't agree with what you're doing. It feels like the whole world is turned against you.
Mm.
And yet, that kind of thinking is the limitation because our brain focuses on what we tell our brain to focus on. So, what if there is something else out there? What if there is a support system out there who is ready to walk through this journey with you? Maybe there is a friend who actually understands you, or maybe there is an online community that understands you.
Mhm.
And if you allow yourself to say, hey, I want to see, I want to break through this. Is there someone else who can help me? I want to search for someone who can help me.
Mhm.
And just maybe there is something that you can find. Um, it's a lonely road, as in, I think this is the hero's journey that we all go through. It's I have been this way for a long time, and now I am ready to give up everything that I've known to travel into an unknown world, to find out who you really are underneath all of those layers that you have grown up. Your mom telling you that you're a good kid, your mom telling you that you're smart, your mom telling you you're very loving and respectful. But what if there is something else underneath that it's really you, and you're there to find this? And so on the road, it seems like you're at a fork road. And that's how I felt anyways. I'm on at the time of my own decision. I felt as if there's this fork road where on one side I have to please my parents, but I could see my own happiness going away. And on the other side, I'm going after what I want, and I saw my loved ones walking away. And so by me going on to this journey, there were actually other people who were helping me, who were supporting me, who were willing to listen to me. Even with their limited ability, I was able to carry on because of their support. And so it may be close friends, it may be just an acquaintance, it may just be an online community, but these people are here to walk with you, and give you that courage to go on to your own road. And I want to share this because the very prominent memory that I had was when I was going into grade 1, and my dad walked me to school. It was grade 1, first day of a brand new school, and we were walking down the stone steps, and I was holding my dad's hand going down the steps. And just maybe 5 steps, right going into the school doorway, he let go. And with my momentum, I kept going down, but I was like, what's going on? And when I turned back to look at my dad, he had his body turned already, and he was looking at me. And I started crying. And I could see my dad having this expression where I want to be with you, but I can't. And I was crying. And then another dad going to school with his daughter, he saw me standing there, and he took my hand and he walked me right into the school. When I was processing this emotion, I felt I was abandoned by my parents. And yet when I actually looked a little bit deeper, there was someone else who was able to walk me through this journey. And what I'm trying to share, why I'm trying to share this with you, is because a lot of times we wish in the deepest of our hearts that our parents will love us for who we are. And yet they may not have that capability of doing that for us. So we have to find other people who have that capability, who have that capacity to walk this journey with us. And so I want people to see that for themselves, that there are other people who may be able to do that for you. So you are not alone. And even just for you listening to this podcast, watching this video, it means that it is out there for you, available for you.
Claudia, is that something that you're offering too as a courage coach? What kind of clients do you have? I mean, they could range. Is it just with parenting, or is it with relationships as well, like, or friendships, or how is it?
A lot of them is a relationship with themselves. And what that means is they come to me feeling like they are not loved by their own family. They are always somehow rejected by the family, or being criticized by the family, and all they wanted is to have their families or their friends love them, treasure them. And yet at the end of the day, what's happening is that in order for them to get that love, get that acceptance, they have to change who they are to the point where they're resenting where they're at. They feel like they're losing themselves. They are at a place where I cannot do this anymore. And there are some clients of mine who are at a point where they have thought about taking their own lives, ending their own lives, because it has gotten to the point where it's just so depressing for them to live how they were living. And so when they came to me, I hold that space to let them see that, yes, of course, they want love. And this is how they've been behaving in order to get that love, showing them that, but it's not working out because they have been abandoning themselves. Because love comes with yourself loving you for who you are. The moment you start abandoning yourself, that pain starts growing. And the more you abandon yourself, that pain deepens. And so we're trying to rebuild up that person to give ourselves that love back rather than searching from it for it from other people, needing other people to validate them. So where I come from is helping them stand when other people hate on them, when other people criticize them, when other people reject them. What can they do at that moment? What do they really want? And me in this relationship is I give them that support, I give them that tool, I give them that space so that they'll be like, oh, I see myself for who I am, and I can love myself for who I am. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's powerful. There was something that you said is really striking. It's that they may, or you even said yourself that you use the word suffered, if you will, abandonment issues. You had some kind of abandonment issue when your dad let your hand go, right? And then the services you're providing are for people to not abandon themselves. And it's like that's like, okay, we're dropping the gold nuggets here. Like, how did you come to that conclusion that was happening? Yeah.
I have to say, Chris, that I feel blessed to have people in my life who were willing to walk with me. And I knew for a while that I can do a lot of things on my own, but I wanted other people to do it with me. And that was what I was craving. And there were people doing it with me. And feeling their support allows me to walk even further, allowing me to love myself so that I can give back to other people. And I think it's so important because the other part of me with my own struggle is my tendency to put myself down and compare myself to others. And it's all of this jealousy, envy that comes with how come other people have it and I don't. And when I could feel other people giving that to me, and because I wasn't able to give that to myself, but other people were willing to give that to me. And when I received that, I could start filling my own cup again to then pour back out into other people. And what happens is a lot of people with abandonment issue is they keep pouring the cups into others while theirs is empty. And so they are expecting a lot in return from what they have poured out. So there's a lot of resentment growing there. And then they're like, why am I even doing this? Am I not enough? And so when you can find those people who can support you and love you and pour into you without you needing to change, then you can start saying, hey, I deserve to pour love into me first so that you can fill your own cup. So when you do that to other people, then it doesn't feel like resentment
Because you're
you
not
just
emptying
give
your cup,
yeah,
right? You're not, I'm sorry, please.
you're not expecting other people to do things for you in return.
Yeah. Got you. It's like you said something so powerful. With regards to you're empty, and yet you're pouring yourself into others, and when you have abandonment issues, and expecting so much in return, and being resentful because you don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And what you really are doing is you're abandoning yourself when you're doing that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're basically saying I'm not. You're validating that thought that I am not enough.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not, instead of, because you're not pouring into you, you're pouring out of you. You're validating the fact that you're not enough. Right. Yes, I deserve to be abandoned because I'm abandoning myself. But the moment you begin to pour into yourself, that's when it seems like you realize you are enough.
Yeah.
You give to yourself. Yeah.
Do you know what, Chris? It just reminded me of something. There was this scientist who was trying to find out how long mice can swim in water before they give up. So they have two groups of mice. One group, they could swim 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then that's it. The other group, just a few minutes before the 15 minutes, they saved them, lifted them up, give them some food, put them back into the water. How much longer do you think they could swim, Chris?
Another 15?
No, 60 minutes.
Wow.
Because they were given hope. They were given hope that they will be saved again, so that they keep swimming. And it reminded me of this because, for example, if let's say, I've been doing this for you, Chris. I've been doing this for you, Chris, and you have never acknowledged me. If let's say you never acknowledge me, maybe for after like a while, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to give up. But what happens is when you say, oh, out of the blue, you say, oh, Claudia, you're so nice. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Guess what happens? You're going to bend over even more backwards, even longer. I'm going to do more. I'm going to do, maybe Chris will acknowledge me today. No, maybe Chris will give me some love today. That keeps expanding. And so your abandonment of yourself, it's even like you have abandoned more of yourself to someone else. And it just connected in my head why there is such toxic relationships when people love bomb you and then they pull back and then they love bomb you again because you're like, oh, I get love bombs. Then they're like, okay, I'm just going to do more and more and more to please the other person so that I can get love bombed by them. And this is sometimes what happens in a parent-child relationship because maybe the mom is busy, maybe the mom is busy. And then all of a sudden, the kid who has been always doing the same thing got praised by the mom. It's like, oh, you're so considerate for doing this. And then other days she'll be yelling again. So then the kid is like, no, I'm just going to do more. I deserve this because my mom actually praised me that one time.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart even just realizing that. Because this is the codependent relationship that we have grown up on. That we feel that we have to keep giving the other person, please the other person in order to get some love back, right? And so every time they give us a praise, give us a save, we do more of what we don't want just to get that.
So in an adult relationship, now you've grown up. Now you're doing it again. You've never stopped doing it.
No.
You actually are looking for the love bombing and the pullback.
Yeah.
Person.
Yeah.
The love bomb and abandonment person, right? That's what you're looking for because that's what you look at as love.
Yeah, because that feels comfortable. because
Yeah.
it may not be a right relationship for you. It may not be a
Oh,
safe relationship, a healthy relationship for you, but that is what feels comfortable because that's what you're used to. So your brain is like, if someone is just nice to you all the time, your brain may be like, what's wrong? Something's wrong. It doesn't feel right. So then you look for someone else who does that to you.
what's familiar, right? That's
That's
what's
familiar.
familiar. So, what do you do when you find yourself in these relationships that resemble each other, right? Because you're finding yourself attracted to this love bombing abandonment. Some people would even call it narcissism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, what do you do as someone who wants to get healthy? Everybody says we go to therapy, but not everyone can either afford therapy, live in Canada to have access to therapy, or for healthcare, or let's say just don't want to go. I mean, I know some men that are saying, "I'm not doing it. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
for
just not
sure.
going to do it."
Yeah.
So what do you do? But you want to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Mm-hmm.
possible to get healthy without
You have to
going into
be
some
truthful to
therapy?
yourself. The hardest is to be honest and truthful with yourself.
Mhm.
There are always people that are talking about things like this. For men, there's this guy called, I forgot, I don't know his last name, but his name is Fan, and his business is called Badass Counseling.
Badass counselor.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love listening to him. I love listening to him. And he says it like it is, very logical, and he gets to the point.
Okay.
So there are help out there. Talk to people, find out. And here's the thing, right? When we talk about self-help, self-transformation, and all of these things, it's you're swimming in a lot of different waters. There's so many ideas out there that some may fit you, some may not fit you. But try them out. Be open to it and see if it works for you, if it resonates with you. Always go back to your body to say, is this what I'm looking for? Does this sound right to me? And
Yeah.
I think that's very important,
Okay.
because some some people needs it straight up in your face and yell at you and say, knock it out. Doesn't work for everyone. Some
Right.
people are more gentle approach to help you open your mind up. And the the very important thing is, are you willing to be truthful to yourself, to dig up these things? And it's hard, Chris. I'm
Yeah.
I'm sure you know that it's hard. Sometimes facing your worst pain can feel like you're breaking your heart open again and again. And it's the fact that you take your time, because this is a lifelong thing. Like
Mhm.
until the moment that you of your last breath, it's a journey. And so, but the very first thing is just to be honest with yourself. Where am I? What do I really want from me? If no one is coming down on me, telling me to do this or that, what do I really want from me? And what if it is possible? And so start there, and see where it leads you.
Yeah. Because some people they'll turn to faith. Some people will
Mhm,
turn to therapy. Some people
mhm,
will find a coach. Some people will find a friend. Some people will find a partner. Some people
mhm.
will just turn inward, read, whatever, go online. But you're
Yeah.
saying the thing to do is to be open, be honest with yourself, and really to, I think, stay focused. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging at times. It's going to be difficult, right?
Mhm.
Don't give up on yourself.
Don't give up on
That's,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah. Because the last thing is, well, here's the thing, right? There are so many people who had given up, and it is all everyone's free will, it's their choice. And at the same time, this is what I believe. Sometimes our challenges are presented in front of us, not because we're made to suffer. It's there because it's our lesson to get over it, to see what we're made of on the other side. And I know for some people it's such a harsh reality because especially if let's say they are assaulted or whatnot, it is very painful. And yet there are a lot of people who have gone through those moments and they have gone past it to say, hey, I'm on the other side of it. And so I believe this was something that I resonated with me when I first heard Teal Swan. If you want to look, there's a YouTube video that she called Tutorial of Life. And what she's saying is that before we are born, you may not believe this, or you may believe this, but before we are born, she said, we had chosen a lesson for ourselves. And we would look at where, like, which parents would best suit our what we learn, the environment that we'll be in, the friends that we'll be in. And when we see that that would be the best way for us to learn this lesson, we will take it. And so maybe your lesson is to love yourself. Maybe your lesson is to find peace in yourself. Maybe your lesson is to go and be big, right? And those challenges that are presented in your life are there so that you can get over it, to learn those lessons. And when I first heard it, I was like, now I understand why my mom is always against whatever that I decide to do, because my lesson is to learn to stand for me, own my voice. And that's why the closest person to me is always against me, because I need to stand up for me against her. If I can stand against her, then I can stand up to anyone, right? So when I first heard that, I'm like, that's why my parents are always not supportive of what I choose, because I need to get over that. And
so
and
when
it
you,
is, yeah.
I got to say this. So when you have that realization,
Mhm.
what changed in you? Because something had to occur, right? When
Yeah.
you had that realization, what internally, what changed in you that made you move different? You know,
It
like,
made me stop blaming my parents.
ah,
It made me stop saying that they are not supportive of me, because my challenge is I need to stand for myself. And of course, they're going to challenge me. And so when I can accept this as a fact, then I had to then work on myself to slowly move myself to the point where I can come out here and tell people things, right? So, and it's still a challenge sometimes, because there are days when I share a story like what I just shared earlier. I think, okay, am I hurting my mom? Am I hurting my husband? Am I doing this or that to to air out dirty laundry, right? What is my goal of sharing this story? And so it is a lot of external expectation talk. It's a lot of internal criticism. And my own inner critic is very strong. And so it's a lot of working on all those pieces.
three things that courage coach Claudia would leave us with, three gold nuggets, right? What are three golden nuggets that you can leave with us as we begin to wrap up for the day?
Yeah, the very first one is get curious to find out who you are. There's a you in there that's underneath all of those layers. And that you wants to come out. It's the part of you that you're like, oh, I really want to do this, but I'm too scared. And that's the you. Find that you. The second one is have the courage to face those very difficult emotions, because a lot of times we find ourselves stuck. It's because we're not willing to face those emotions.
Mm.
But once we get through those emotions, then we can go on. And the third is find the people who can support you to walk alongside you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Now, I want to thank you for coming. But there's one thing you have to do, because every guest has to do this. You have to share one thing that you've not shared with anyone else in a public forum that you're going to give us today about you.
Oh, this is a tough one. What have I not shared?
In a public
I'm
forum.
a very open book.
Okay. Open book. Public forum. That means you could have told your husband, but not your on stage.
No, you have to give me some time to think about this one.
Okay, so that's going to be the last question on the event, the actual recorded event.
Okay.
And it's sort of like what every guest has to share something that they've never shared in public before about themselves, or a situation of, maybe something that they did or whatever.
Oh, but can it be like a dream that I really want to achieve?
Yeah, it could be anything. Yes. It has to be
anything.
something they've never shared with anyone in a public forum. Yeah. Or I don't want to go into a private forum, because you may have shared it with a friend or, close relative or loved one. So I would say a public forum would be better.
Public forum.
Yeah. I mean, to go into the private realm, you can, because that applies as well. So if I say public forum, it covers the private, right?
Well, I haven't shared this fun story. I've shared it to like a few people, maybe a few. But I remember this is to the little girl who just came to Canada. So as a new immigrant, I have to do what we call ESL, English as a Second Language class. So I was the only one who needs to go there. And I had no idea how the school system works, because it's like a 5-day activity. And if, let's say, there is a holiday somewhere, your one of the days got shifted. So I never knew which day we have what. So that day I had ESL class. So I left, and it was in a portable for, I don't know if they have portables in the United States, but portable is like a little classroom that is separate from the main building. So I had to go there, turn the knob, it's locked. Did I get the right day? Am I supposed to have ESL class today? So I went back into my classroom, and that day they had computer class, and so the whole classroom was dark. There was no one in the classroom. What am I gonna do? Well, this little girl, grade 5, went to the washroom to hide out for the entire period. And the next day, my ESL teacher asked me, "Did you not come to class? Did you know you have class?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot."
So you ducked out. You cut.
I cut class.
Okay.
So
you're the good girl cutting class.
I was a good girl cutting class. It was my first time cutting class, and I felt so bad. I was like, I didn't know. I'm sure that the teachers talked. I was nowhere to be found. I don't know what happened. But I want to say to that little girl, good for you for doing whatever you need to survive. Maybe the worst idea to have done, I should have go check. You know what? Gone outside to check the portable again. But you know what? I needed to do what I needed to do. And I think where I'm getting at is there are times where we all do kind of stupid things or things that we're ashamed of. And yet at that moment, that was the thing that you needed to do. And so don't beat yourself up over it. Don't be embarrassed by it. Your brain is in survival mode. And so love yourself for it. Forgive yourself if you need to. And face that and learn from it and move on. And that's part of you. Love that part of you.
Wow. Thank you for that. Claudia Chan, it has been beautiful. It's been wonderful. I've enjoyed the conversation. And everyone must go to claudiachan.co and look up Claudia, send her an email. If you want her courage coaching, I'm sure she's got programs available that everyone would want to jump on. And when you're on stage again, definitely send a link and let us know, because we'll throw it out there on the website. Claudia, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris, for giving me that platform. Really appreciate you. I always love talking to you.
Thank you. Turn off.
Thank you for joining us at Elevate Today with Chris Thompkins. That was Claudia Chan, our guest for this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us again. Have a great week, and until we meet again, let's elevate.